I cannot survive without having Furina in my team. And I can confidently say the same will happen to you when you get her because she is just way too good of a character. Hey everyone, Sayram here. So Furina is one of those characters where as soon as you get the character and start using them, you will start asking yourself, how did I play this game without this character? Similar to Kazuha, who I don't have by the way, which is all thanks to Hoyo making me lose the 50-50 on his banner 4 times. But anyways, Furina is no different. So I will go over some commonly asked questions about her and tell you why she is just too good. But before I begin, I currently have a goal of reaching 500 subs where any sub will be highly appreciated. First thing you may ask, is Furina a universal unit or does she only work with a specific set of characters like New Villette? To answer that question, let's go over the part of her kit that you will find yourself using the most, aside from being able to walk on water, which is her elemental burst. Very simply, her elemental burst is responsible for buffing the entire team using a mechanic called Universal Reveille State. Now the reason some might ask if that mechanic only works with specific characters like New Villette is because of how that mechanic works. During the Universal Reveille State, Furina buffs your allies using something called fanfare points. You can get these fanfare points whenever any ally gains or loses HP, and she of course has a maximum amount of fanfare stacks. What the buff will do is increase the damage your allies can do while also increasing their incoming healing bonus, which is very helpful in gaining these fanfare stacks and to just straight up heal. The reason you might think she works with characters like New Villette and Risley only is because these characters have the ability to not only deplete their HP, but to also heal themselves throughout their kits, which is exactly what Furina needs to get the fanfare stacks. The thing with Furina is that she will allow your entire team to have that ability thanks to her skills. It won't be as seamless as New Villette for example, but with her elemental skill, she will deplete your allies' HP and can also heal them. Her Uxia form with elemental skill summons 3 celebrants that will attack enemies, and each time they attack they will deplete the HP of your team members as long as they have over 50% HP, which does help in gaining fanfare stacks for the elemental burst buff. And don't worry, if your team member health goes below 50%, she still is able to heal them thanks to her Benuma form, which summons the Singer of Many Water, who will heal the active on-field character. Furthermore, to make everything more seamless, you can easily switch between these two forms using just her charge attack. So basically, if you put her on a team with characters that do not have the ability to deplete their HP and heal themselves built into their kit, don't worry, you can still easily take advantage of her elemental burst buff very easily, which yes, does make her an excellent universal support. Where if you put her on any team, you can expect that team to do way more damage thanks to the buff. Which brings me to my point if you're not being able to have a team where you don't use her. Like generally ever since I got her, I place her on any team whenever I can because she's just way too seamless and the amount of effort you need to take advantage of the buff is very low. Now let's discuss whether her C1 and C2 are worth it or not. Many of you might already have Furina, so it's a good question to go over. Her C1 simply makes her elemental burst buff even better, especially if you're worried whether she takes too much effort to take advantage of her buff, because her C1 makes her get 150 fanfare points for just using her elemental burst. So even if you don't bother to get more fanfare points, you will still see a difference in your team's damage for absolutely zero effort. But if you do bother to get more fanfare points, her C1 increases the maximum amount of fanfare stacks she can have, which in other words is more damage buff for your team. Since at Z0 the maximum amount of stacks she can hold is 300, and thanks to her C1 the maximum will be 400 instead. My recommendation is if you can afford to get her C1, without a doubt go for it. Unless you have a goal of wanting to get another strong team, then a strong DBS will be better value, but if not, her C1 is good value for your entire team. And also if you can get her C2, do go for it. Archons have a pattern where their C2 constellation is the best one, like Raiden for example. Furina's C2 will allow her to gain fanfare stacks insanely fast by a 250% increase, and also for every stack she has, she will get her HP increased. So in other words, her C2 is insane quality of life, allowing you to do way less setup to get the maximum amount of stacks. Next, let's talk about how insanely free-to-play friendly she is. If you're free-to-play, Furina is a character you should have in your account. There is a ton of reasons on why she's very free-to-play friendly. First is because her best 4-star weapon is the Floof Scent of Ferryman weapon. A weapon you can get a refined by just fishing in Fontaine. Plus it doesn't matter what characters you already have, meaning you do not need specific characters for her to work. You can literally run her with a Sucrose, Shangling and a Benny and she will still do her job. But I won't deny that with characters like New Villette, she's better to use. I personally run her with a New Villette, Chillon and a Layla team, and I can confidently say that the buff she provides is just way too good, to the point you cannot pass out on the chance to use her whenever you can. Also the off-field damage she can do is pretty helpful, since her best artifact set is a Golden Troop, which works on massively increasing her elemental skill damage by a whopping 70%, which you need to do nothing for you to be able to get it. Generally speaking, you do not need any of her her constellations, nor need for any premium 5-star weapon to go with her, which just makes her great for everybody. Finally, how good is she in comparison to other universal support characters, or more specifically Xilonen? Xilonen and Furina are similar to each other, but aren't similar to each other at the same time. Let me make this make sense. Furina and Xilonen both play a role of buffing your team, while also both having an ability to heal your team members. The difference is how they do it. As I said, Furina utilizes her elemental burst to buff your allies' damage, while also utilizing her elemental skills to make her elemental burst work with everybody, like healing and reducing your team's HP. Xilonen is the opposite. She uses her elemental skill to debuff the enemy by reducing his elemental resistance, so she doesn't actually buff your characters, but instead debuffs the enemy to make your characters do more damage, whereas Furina straight up makes your characters deal more damage. I have both, and personally I cannot not use either of them. You can place them both in the same team and the damage numbers of yours will be crazy, though Xilonen is easier to use and needs way less setup in comparison to Furina. But still, Furina still stands strong because of how many things she can do, whether it's sub DPS, support, or a sustainer. She can do it all. There are other fun reasons like her ability to walk on water, cute bubble effects while she does her dolphin jump in Fontaine, and not to forget her incredible role during the Archon quest of Fontaine. Plus trust me, you will not stop using this character anytime soon, so she's a character that is guaranteed not to get benched in your account. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please do leave a sub, a like, and as usual, I hope to see you soon.